All right, well, welcome back for another episode of In the Lawn. I really want to thank all of you guys who've been subscribing, commenting. We've had a lot of great conversations about the California trimmer and what's going on in Bermuda grass out there. So please continue to keep those comments coming and give me a like if the video is something you enjoyed. Follow. I've got a lot more content coming out. So what are we doing today? Well, today I'm going to be addressing some compaction issues that I have in my lawn. I've adjusted some of my sprinklers. We'll show you a little highlight of the sprinkler repair that I did. I also did a little bit of spike aeration. I have a little foot spike aerator that I can walk around and just make sure that any of that compacted area is loosening up. But I have never tried the compaction cure from Green County Fertilizer, so today I thought I would give Air-8 and RGS compaction cure a try. I've got a pretty big area that needs it, and normally every year I use my aerator. I have a pull behind aerator, and I didn't do it this year. Kind of wishing I would have, because mowing shorter, I think it probably would have boded a little bit better. But anyway, we'll use the N-EXT County Fertilizer biostimulants and see if we can't get a little bit of loosening up and a little bit more uptake for the Bermuda grass. So I'll be putting down 6 ounces of Air-8 and 6 ounces of RGS per 1,000. So I'll be treating my backyard and my front yard. So I'll be treating roughly about 5,000 square feet. So I'll be doing that in the Ortho hose and sprayer. One thing I'd like to point out is I've actually had this Ortho now. This is going on I think I've had this this is probably the 3rd season that I've used it. The same head that I've used. What I do after every application is I rinse it out really, really well. I blew that screen out a long time ago. But one thing I do is you give it a little pull, and that'll help clear it when you're still have the hose hooked up to it, and then just spray that through there. And I know they're cheap and kind of disposable, but I think 2.5 years of use is pretty awesome considering how often I use it. And I use it probably in the summertime anywhere between 1 to 2 times a month. And I'm pushing a lot of different things through it. So got my handy dandy measuring cup here. So we are going to be doing, like I said, we'll be filling the Ortho up. I guess I could just use the Ortho. I was going to use my backpack sprayer, but I want to get a little bit more water down because of the heat that we're going to have today. So let's do the back, which is going to be 3,000 square feet. So we need 12 ounces, we need 18 ounces of RGS. 16, I see the 18 mark. Okay. Make sure with all the N-EXT County products, gotta give them a good shake. Gotta get all that good stuff into your concoction here. Ounces, that is the line. Alright. One of the things that I found with the Ortho sprayer, and I don't think it gets talked about enough, is what setting to set it on. And I've messed around with I think I have it set on usually like 3 ounces and find that to be a pretty good setting when using the sprayer that I like. And I like the fan tip versus kind of the shower head, and just kind of working it back and forth. So I think it just kind of comes down to personal preference, but it's always better to have to go over the lawn twice. I think you give it a little bit more water. Alright, so now we need to go 18. It's going to be 636. Well, I'm going to be a little light on RGS because this will only hold up to about 32 ounces. That's alright though. Give it a little bit more, it'll be really close. And I've actually treated with RGS quite a bit this year to get everything kind of kicked off. So we got that in there. Let's get our ortho sprayer on, which is probably the worst design in the world. I don't know why this thing is so hard to get on there. We got that on. And then I just wanted to, I actually was going to be treating the lawn. I just got a little bit of broadleaf weeds coming up, and I could have added that into here. But what I'm doing is tonight, when it cools back down, because I don't want to put this on the leaves, I'm going to be doing an application of 700 green effect. I have an iron deficiency, and I'm also going to be using microgreen with that at the same time to help with the micro, since I'm really trying to hold back on putting a whole bunch of nitrogen down because I am dealing with those mites, and nitrogen is just not recommended. So tonight I'll be putting, when it gets a little cooler out, I'll be using the backpack sprayer and giving a nice little shot of green effect. And I believe this goes down at 8 ounces per 1,000, and I think this one is like between 4 to 8 ounces depending on what you're doing. So and I'm actually going to give this a little shot on my crepe myrtles, which are just getting ready to bloom. So alright, well, come along at the back and we'll show you how we put this down. Alright, so as you can see, this is where I'm dealing with some compaction issues. You can see a little bit of the brown up in the grass. Here's some of the sprinkler head work that I did last weekend. And so I did come in here with a little foot aerator and just poked a bunch of holes in through here, and then up in this area as well, and a little bit over in here. So you know, it's not everywhere, but this time of year, we haven't had rain for 3 weeks now, and we'll have rain. We have rain in the forecast a week from Tuesday, which is good. I have a little bit of compaction going on here, and then I punched a bunch of little holes. You can kind of see them. I don't know if that'll show up on film or not, but there's a bunch of little holes in there, and so one little area back there that I'll be working on. So we'll get the Air-8 and RGS down, and we'll see how it works. Hopefully this week we'll get a little bit more green up out of it, and we'll keep you updated as we kind of work through this hot weather and introduction to summer. This is a handy little tool that I bought years ago. It's a 4-prong aerator. I call it a groundhog, I believe. And it works pretty easy. So like, here's a dry spot, and I just would pop that down, step on it, and then what I found worked really well, see if I can get out of the shadow here, is just move it back and forth a little bit, and then when you pull it out, you can see the nice little holes that it leaves down in the grass. So you can just walk around any of your little areas that might be struggling a little bit, and just force a little bit more oxygen, water, without pulling plugs or renting a machine, just in those little areas that need a little extra love.